People you meet on your holidays, part 1. We had a bargain trip planned abroad. It was so cheap I felt a fraud. We met many people, some sweet. Meeting them was a real treat. One couple in their 70s were travelling without any fear. They were on their honeymoon. They had got married in June. They had both been sadly widowed, but with love had their lives renewed. She had travelled the world wide and far. He thought to leave Batley would him scar. As he said, Batley had a bank, post office and park, work, pubs, places to go in light and in dark. Why would he ever leave the place he had been born? He felt happy there, never faced scorn. She whispered to me that to go to Spain so hot was part of the plan she had got. Don't tell him please, but next year I've booked to see my daughter. No fear. We'll have a lot more paraphernalia, 'cause we're going for 6 months to Australia. I want to acclimatise him to travel. He sure will find next year novel. I wonder how he faced his fears. Did it end with happiness or tears? I am sure that he will have had a great time in that blessed country which is so fine. People you met on your holidays, part 2. There were nice folk on our trip, but I have to say we met a woman who nearly turned my hair grey. This story is about her and we'll call her Maud, and she certainly in character was flawed. Our problems started on getting off the plane. We all realised that this woman was a pain. She had a quiet husband always with her, who had to follow Maud and to her defer. On arrival in the early hours at the airport in Spain, she made certain that we knew she had no brain. They had 2 suitcases of bright tartan in blue, and identical was owned by another 2. The bus was delayed and the third one was mislaid. But Maud had taken 3, not 2, I am afraid. Did she think that 3 were hers because she thought they could breed? It was never explained. A very silly woman indeed. Of course she moaned that she was at the back of the bus, but she'd got on last, but still made a fuss. Before breakfast next day she said she was tired. I had slept very well, but she had 5 room changes acquired. The staff must have loved her moving rooms all night. They knew that with her they were due many a fright. At breakfast she complained loud of coffee cold. One lady believed her, so did her lips scold. It went on and on as I lay relaxing in the pool. I could hear her from her room moaning that it was too hot or too cool. She moaned about the food. To the staff she was very rude. This was a bargain holiday, not 4-star, no way. She sat most of the day in the entrance room. As you entered the hotel, her voice did boom, inquiring what you had done, where you had been. Her nosiness was annoying, almost obscene. In week 2 arrived a young man. She dominated him. I'll call him Sam. It was obvious he was her son, and from her he just could not run. One day we saw him come in carrying a parcel ever so slim. What you got there? She did boom, as he tried to get past us to go to his room. I buy a Lagro figure everywhere I go. I love them on display, like a show. You waste your money, you need a slap. You pay too much for so much crap. Later I told him I thought that his mother caused rather a lot of bother. He asked why, as his mother was not abroad. I said I thought his mother was Maud. I never met her in my life before. I think she's a bleeding awful bore. I asked why he spent so much time with her. He said she'd grabbed him and filled him with fear. While we were there, the proprietor passed away. Her family mourned her sadly each day. Now in the dining room there were overhanging beams. They looked very secure, or so it seemed. One day while we were having rather a good meal, one came crashing down. A loose link it did reveal. It managed to hit Maud on the head, and she spent the rest of the holiday in bed. During the subsequent peaceful time, I spoke to the manager, who looked just fine. He said that as his mother had gone up to heaven, she cut the chain, and for that she should be forgiven.